Pokemon Black and White are the best Pokemon games. The internet has revolutionized how we consume everything. From news to politics to sports to entertainment to whatever else you want to find, it's an ever expanding web of information you can tap into from anywhere and everywhere. The access to information you'd otherwise never have brings enlightenment and ignorance. The ability for me to broadcast my opinions, my ideas, my thoughts, my life onto the screen for somebody else, regardless of their connection to me, is incredible. But that access to unlimited viewpoints and opinions creates this Darwinistic competition between people who will never meet, never see each other, never lock eye to eye, probably never hear their voice. The roots of social media being about sharing your life or things you found cool or information you think people should know has been rotting for the last decade. The ability to change your life by being popular on a website has invited people to become increasingly polarizing and bold. Creates disagreement. Disagreement breeds response, and social media broadcasts it to more and more people, which calls for more and more and more until it resonates and peters out. It takes a village to raise a child, but that village got a computer, and those kids are now being raised by the whole world. People take what they see on the screen as gospel, but they seem to forget that the screen never shows you the whole picture. That guy on Twitter who says, this shit sucks, I fucking hate it, and everyone who likes it should be executed by tomorrow, is not a real guy. This is not who they are in real life. It's the internet. You get a license to be divisive and annoying. The shit you're shown is going to be the extreme. This isn't the consensus opinion on the things they're talking about, but somehow that gets lost in translation. People adopt others' opinions without a thought or experiencing it first. A review becomes their view. An opinion piece becomes their next talking point. Before you know it, they don't have an opinion of their own. Everybody has to have a take on everything. It's become embarrassing to concede that you don't have a stance. When it comes to games, every title has to be either the GOAT or it's dog shit. And it feels like people don't fucking like anything anymore. Nobody can have fun doing something. Nobody can enjoy anything without my permission. It's poisonous. Pokemon fans are notorious for being the biggest nostalgia-ridden dweebs with access to Reddit. Every time something new comes out, everybody hates it and wishes it was like the old shit. Not that they aren't doing any just criticism. I mean, Scarlet and Violet don't even work, but holy shit, they're in love with the past. Gen 5 Pokemon games have been labeled the last good ones, but would you be surprised to hear that some people didn't like them when they came out? And guess what they didn't like? It wasn't like the old shit. The discourse boils down to 1, an all-new Pokemon roster until postgame, and 2, they just didn't like the designs. The complaint was that it was a soft reboot, and people who were 27 playing Pokemon games, mad about Pokemon, took to the internet to be mad. The constant cycle of things being shit on by people it wasn't made for and then getting its flowers 15 years later as the people it was actually made for, the new culture overlords. I mean, Star Wars might be the best example of this. The prequels were shit on by 35-year-old dorks who the movies weren't made for, and now are celebrated by the current generation because, they're awesome? Not that there aren't criticisms to be made about them, but you get the point. Pokemon does this shit every 5 years with the new title, and then 10 years later, people say, wait, this was kinda sick. I mean, it's happening now with Sun and Moon, and I'm sure it'll happen again down the road. My first Pokemon game I played all the way through were the Gen 3 remakes. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are top 3. God, those games are beast. But I didn't play Gen 5 when I was a kid. I didn't have a DS, and when I got a 3DS, it was time for Gen 6, so I just missed it. I had a random copy of Pokemon Pearl, so I've played through Gen 4 and at least tried to play through Gens 1 and 2 on emulator previously. I've been getting back into Pokemon through collecting cards and tapping back into Pokemon Go, which carried me back to the games. A while ago, I did a monotype run on Pokemon Platinum, which I didn't finish because I fucked up and deleted my save, but doing a monotype run made me have the most fun I've had playing Pokemon in years, so I decided to do a monotype run of Gen 5 because I'd never played them before. I did Bug as my monotype and beat it over the course of a week on stream, and holy shit, Pokemon Black and White are the truth. These games have the best sprite work, the best story, and this is where they finally started designing good Pokemon for actual gameplay. If you go back and play Gens 1, 2, or 3, you will say to yourself, these mons make no fucking sense. These move pools and learn sets are ass, and these stats are so counterproductive I'm not going to use 70% of the cast because they suck. I distinctly remember playing Pokemon Crystal and catching a Ladybug and looking up it and Ladian's Gen 2 move pool stats and learn set and throwing up over my keyboard. Like, this shit is revolting. Like, how does this make it into the game? It's a bug with boxing mitts on and it has like 40 attack. Its best move is Swift at level 42. It doesn't learn any stab. Like, what the fuck is this, man? This is not even me cherry picking either. Like, this is 80% of the mons before Gens 4 and 5. In Gen 4, they overhauled a lot of the move pools and learn sets and started designing Pokemon to actually like try and do something in battle. I mean, there's still some misses, but it's way better across the board. In Gen 5, they got the hang of it and made a whole new roster for the game, and I like how pretty much all the Pokemon look. The designs are sharp and have an idea behind them. It's well directed overall, and the sprite work had reached its peak. Gen 5 sprites are so fucking good, man. It's so sad we don't have them anymore. But you may say, so what? I mean, the battle shit's cool and you like the designs, but didn't gameplay only get better as time went on? And who cares if you like the designs or not? That's up to people's tastes. That is true. I mean, Mega Evolutions and continued overhauls of Pokemon would come in the next generation, along with another good batch of designs and cool mons, but what sets Black and White apart is detail. The world of Black and White is filled with soul and precision. Every location feels inhabited. There's a purpose for everything. There's finesse and technique put into every minute detail of the game. The introduction of 3D elements allows for these grand displays that present the size that the Pokemon world should be at. Sky Arrow Bridge is the first time in Pokemon where you get to comprehend the scale of the world you're in. The new perspective provides an understanding of your surroundings that no games have had before and have tried to replicate ever since. Other places like Ends Castle, Driftvale Drawbridge, Dragon Spiral Tower, the Elite Four Gates, Victory Road, all these places get brought to life in 3D and it's magical to play through and experience. You may say, don't they just do this better in X and Y? Maybe, but something's off. The change from primarily 2D to 3D leaves something missing to the world. I feel it in the characters and the Pokemon themselves. They're lacking soul. There's something special about the sprite work. It's handcrafted. It tries to convey something. It carries a message. There's personality ingrained in it. The limitations require this extra effort to get the point across, and through those details, it becomes greater than whatever 3D model you could cook up. That's what sets it apart. Black and White still have the soul left over from the hundreds of people that touch the game, and it shines through in the world, the music, the story, but it still has access to the technology to show you the scale of what you're involved in. It accumulates the best parts of every technique it utilizes to make a world that's truly special. That's why it's the best. Anyways, these games are sick as fuck. Tune into twitch.tv/GGMoTalks 07.